Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classic. This is episode number 737 and Doubleshot number 641. Yeah, I have a Comic Corner ready to go, so I figured, why not do one? Even though, yes, I'm still planning to do My Hero Academia, but I figured, I had these books ready to go now. Let's view them. Okay, first up, it is Deadpool Flashbacks, written by Gary Duggan and Brian Pushin. Yep, that's the writers of this thing. Artwork by Phil Noto and Scott Kublish. Yep. And these are the issues in here, which is 7, 13, 20, 26, 34, 40, 45, and material for 27. But here's the thing. All these books basically put not in a chronological order, not the way they're printed back in the trade. Oh no. These are the order that these particular flashback issues come in. First up, it is 26. Yep, that's the first one. And I love this art style. They use this also art style for the X-Men Grand Design series. Yeah, I love this retro art style, which very emulates the classic art style of people like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. I love this art style. I can even throw up there Jarmia Jr. I've seen this also occasionally in Spider-Man. Yeah. Let's see. Next one is number 20. That's the second issue of these ones. Yeah, because it's just Deadpool traveling through time. Yep. And that second one, which, yeah, this one is very much emulating the Jack Kirby arts, the late Jack Kirby's famous art style. He's like mostly Scott Kublish take inspiration from him. Next issue is issue 13, which takes us to the 70s. Yep, the 70s, where he runs Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Yep. Which, by the way, the woman who pops up in here, who he sort of, in a way, sleeps with, yeah, this woman also becomes the mother of his only known child he's ever had. Issue 7, love this cover. Great homage to the classic Demon and Battle story, written by Dan Michelini and artwork by Bob Layton. And I also did a review of it. Heck, even Bob Lane can never forget about that story because people keep reminding him about it. Yep, but that issue 7 is the next one here. Yeah, this is all about Demon Battle. We also have a brief appearance by, let's see, where is he? Anger the Screamer. Yep, the guy made his debut in issue 100 of Daredevil. Yep, who also was briefly Songbird's boyfriend at one point. And for some reason, I don't know why, because it's the 80s, let's have Deadpool rip off Daredevil's costume. Yep, with the whole double D, the classic style way Daredevil used to have like 2 Ds in his costume. He doesn't have it right now, but he used to have 2 Ds in his costume. And pretty much Deadpool is ripping that off. Yep. Yeah, then we have next one is a story from issue 27, which is the wedding issue of Deadpool. Yeah, I think it's a backup. Yeah, basically, some of them alien invasion, stuff like that. We also have 45, that's the next one here, which has, in case you never read anything else, stories from the 70s, he used to have this. He doesn't have it anymore because he travels around, not in this thing, but in his spaceship, Sanctuary 2. Let me introduce you to Thanos' helicopter. Yep, if you read any of his early stories in the 70s, yeah, he had this thing. Oh yeah, and also at one point, Thanos was actually arrested and thrown in jail. Yeah, that's not a joke. That seriously happened. Yep. We also have Deadpool's roast from issue 45. And there's a joke about Inferno about having Wolverine wearing the Goblin Prince attire that they offered that Havoc wore when he was the Goblin Prince. The only reason why he's here because at the time that story came out, Wolverine had been dead at this point for about, I'd say almost 6 months. He had just died 6 months prior. So they had to have Wolverine make an appearance because, well, why the heck not? Because, well, Wolverine and Deadpool have had a long history together, so why not? It's an appearance by Deadpool's sexy wife. Yep. Show a great panel of her. Yeah, Deadpool's sexy wife, who they're kind of separated right now, but they're still legally married according to basically the law. Yeah, basically a bunch of various characters. But it's a fun little story. Last one's 34, which is just I have no idea if this. Now, this is heavily inspired by Rob Liefeld. I wouldn't be surprised if Liefeld himself actually drew this issue. Because, you know what's missing from this issue? Feet. Yes. Rob Liefeld had this thing where he would never draw feet. Never did. And I've heard when he does draw feet, it looks really bad. Heck, here's something else from the 90s that apparently most people don't know about. Yeah, at times you have to read comics like this. Occasionally you might see this nowadays, but this was a common trope in the 90s, where you have to turn the comic on its side in order to read it. I wasn't reading comics back then, but I heard this was a trope that was very common, along with having women having rubber spines made of rubber, hips swing. This is one of the things that I think a lot of people, the Turing panel thing, people don't mind if that Cage showed up nowadays, but back in the 90s, early 90s, of what I've heard, this was very common. Yep. Just basically Deadpool and Sabretooth. Of course, Deadpool blowing up his childhood home. And then, of course, we also have a story where Luke Cage meets, in his 90s attire. Yeah, he actually wore this outfit in the 90s. The only reason I know he wore this in the 90s because I have read the Cage series. It's actually not that bad of a title. Just too bad it got canceled due to low sales after only 20 issues. Yeah, but the last couple issues of that series, he was fighting he got possessed by a freaking demon. Yep. And why is this here? Yeah, because Deadpool found out that he had a daughter. Yep. Yeah, it's a fun little story. There's even another story in here, which has nothing really much to do. It's basically from issue 40. I think these are like backup stories. I think they are. Yeah, I think backup stories. It's basically sort of a hand-drawn story of just Deadpool and Phil Coulson just hanging out. I gotta say the flashbacks in here are really fun, and they're thoroughly enjoyable. And high praise to Scott Kubelich for doing the classic Jack Kirby art style. 9.5 out of 10. This is really damn good. Here's another really good story. Operation S.I.N. Agent Carter. Yes, this is a trade I got from Comic-Con. Containing the 5-issue limited series Operation S.I.N. and the Captain America and First 13 #1. It's a one-shot. Everything in here is written by Catherine Inman, with artwork by Rich Ellis with Ramon Perez. Yeah, set in the 1950s. Now, yes, they put this image on the cover just to promote the TV show. I have watched the TV show. I actually was really good. It's just too bad it got canceled 2 seasons. Oh, do you know why it was canceled? Was it canceled low ratings? Not necessarily. It was canceled due to the change of executive leadership of ABC. And they canceled this show along with a bunch of other shows. One of whom actually just came back. Nashville was one of them. My dad's he loves the show Nashville because he's a big country music fan. So they brought the show back and it's on CMT now. But yeah, they draw very much heavy inspiration from the show itself. It just is this little very awesome adventure of Peggy Carter, Howard Stark, Woodrow, what was his name? Woodrow McCord, who actually made his debut in the original Sin miniseries. He was Nick Fury's predecessor as the Man on the Wall. His origin story was actually told in original Sin and #1, which surprisingly it's not in here. Maybe because it has nothing to do with Peggy Carter, but it would make sense. And mostly, Woodrow McCord is just a supporting character in the story that's all about Peggy Carter. Oh, by the way, what does this stand for? Yeah, you don't find out to the final issue. Okay, what does this stand for? Stark Industries Nuclear. That is what the S.I.N. stands for. Not kidding about this. You listen to the last issue. There's also stuff with a bunch of aliens. Great, kind of like noir, sci-fi adventure. Something you would find from old sci-fi serials from the 40s. And I found this to be fantastic. Catherine Inman does a fantastic job writing the character of Peggy Carter. Yeah, even right at one point in the book, when she's arriving in Russia, she says she hates wearing skirts. She prefers pants over skirts. I love that about it. Like, all these fine little quirks. Though for some reason on the covers, Phil Noto tends to draw Peggy Carter like the actress who plays Sharon Carter from the movies. No idea why on the covers. It's so weird. At least Howard Stark is not drawn like Dominic Cooper. Yeah, the whole thing with her working with Howard Stark in this little adventure, that comes from the Agent Carter TV show. Yep. I'm serious. That's where the inspiration comes from. It's like this particular miniseries took elements from the TV show, integrated into this. Though the TV show took place in the late 40s, this takes place in the early 1950s. Yeah, with Peggy's a little bit older than she was. I would say she's probably at this point, and this is my personal guess, probably in her 30s. That's my personal theory, but she's still a smoking hot woman. And she works with a woman named Tanya and a bear, which, by the way, Woodrow McCord gets a chance to actually fight this bear. Turns to be a shapeshifter. Also, those of you who ever watched episode 3 of the Agent Carter series, where Agent Carter punches Howard Stark in the face, yeah, she does the same thing in the comic as well. As a matter of fact, the teaser, I think it was for issue 2. Yeah, issue 2. This list had said, Howard Stark gets punched by Peggy Carter, and Woodrow McCord fights a bear. That was the solicit. And this happened. It was this issue right here. It was issue number 2. Yep. Yeah. Woodrow McCord fights a bear, and Peggy Carter punches Howard Stark in the face. Yeah. Also, high praise to the artist who did these covers. That was full note on my mistake. It's the cover artist is Michael Kamarkart. I think that's how you pronounce the person's name. Yeah. Fantastic job with these covers. They're fantastic. I actually almost was taking it for Phil Noto's book. And I kind of wish that they actually had this was an ongoing series, because this is fantastic. I loved it. What are we going to get this? 10 out of 10. Really, really good. Captain M, you did a fantastic job with this series. I don't know if this woman's related to Stuart Immonen, who's an artist. No idea if these two related or not. Maybe they are. I don't know. But my personal guess is the reason why that Catherine was chosen probably because she's a female writer. And I have seen it where female characters are written by male writers. Like Batgirl recently was written by a male writer. Yeah, I think it was actually not Batgirl. Was Supergirl. Yeah, Supergirl was written by a male writer. As far as I can tell, people who have written Supergirl over the years, I think she's had one female writer, and that was Kelly Sue Honig. And there has been female writers who write male characters, like Becky Cohen writing The Punisher, or Kelly Sue Honig, who basically is currently going to be soon writing Aquaman. Yeah. Or Devin Grayson does Nightwing. Yeah. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend this series. If you're a fan of Peggy Carter, check this out. If you love the TV show, check this out, because it takes heavy inspiration from the TV show. They're not the villain, surprisingly. Nope. The villain for Season 2 was Whitney Frost, though a weird version of her. If I remember, I think the first season, I would say this takes inspiration more from the first season of the show, which involved the Russians, and framing Howard Stark for trying to frame him for bombing New York. They were going to have him do anyways. But luckily they stopped him anyways, though. No mention. She doesn't work for a government agency like she does in TV show. In TV show, she works for a version of the OSS. Though in real life, OSS was actually shut down after World War II ended. Yeah, it was actually shut down like not long after FDR passed away. From what I've read, they shut it down and replaced it, and elements of the OSS was absorbed into the FBI and the newly formed CIA. At that point, though both of them have been around for years, though the CIA didn't develop their reputation until the 1960s. Yeah, well after this was. Those CIA was around here, but no mention of CIA in here. It's weird though they don't mention exactly the organization that the Woodrow McCord even works for, or how in the world he met Howard Stark. Yeah, that is never brought up in here. It's like, oh, they're old friends. Okay, fine. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be a review on a Scarlet Witch trade, and a trade from a series I've never reviewed before, but I have reviewed from the writer before, Matthew Rosenberg. Yep, one of his trades. It'll be the second, I think it's the second one I have from him. You'll find out what it is in the next episode, okay? But to see you there. Bye.